Hello and welcome to day two. Yesterday we tapped into the realm of desire. Today we're going to talk about expansion and what that looks like, how we can make space in our physical body and in our nervous system to really anchor in the frequencies of that desire and make it land in the 3D. So today we're going to be talking about nervous system work, somatic work, differences, and yeah, just a lot of keys and codes for you to really start integrating this. You'll also find that there is a recording of a nervous system calibration that you'll find posted just below. I invite you to tap into that. And again, this is a tool for you to use as often as possible. This is a calibration to really tune in the frequencies and cement them into your body, creating the space and capacity to hold and sustain it in the 3D. So I just want to start off by talking a little bit about nervous system work and somatic work. So somatic work is work with the body. Soma means body. So when I'm referring to somatic work, I'm talking about any form of work that involves you really tapping into your body. You will find that I use somatic work and nervous system work interchangeably. Nervous system work is basically comes under the umbrella term of somatic work because they both deal with the body. So uh, many of you will be familiar with hearing about nervous system regulation, right? And I just want to clear up some things here. So the work that I do, specifically when we're working with the 5D amplifier method, this is not nervous system regulation. Regulation is about bringing your body back to a place of safety and connection. This is not the work that I do with the 5D amplifier and when I'm working with my nervous system in business. In fact, the work that we're doing, calibrating and expanding the nervous system, actually borders on the edge of dysregulation. So, just to give you a visual for this, regulation is finding yourself in this sweet spot of calm and still. Calibration or expansion is coming to these edges here and pushing them out bit by bit. So you're expanding your capacity to hold more, right? So some people's calibration, they're set to, be able to hold steady here. Anything further out throws them off into like a frenzy of fight or flight or dysregulation. So the work that we're doing is pushing these edges out so that we can hold the full spectrum. This is another interesting thing that a few people who have come from a highly spiritual and manifestation background. Nervous system work is not high vibes only. Nervous system work is the nitty gritty, get down dirty work, okay? Expansion is your capacity to hold both. How do you deal with holding the overwhelm, the fear, the disgust? Do you have the capacity to actually sit in that and hold it? Because if you don't, then you're not going to have the capacity to experience the opposite. The example I like to use for this is overwhelm and abundance. Overwhelm and abundance, at the core of their frequency, they are the same thing. Okay? Overwhelm is so much, abundance is so much. If you can't hold the overwhelm, if you can't train your body to feel comfortable in so much, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is so much. If you can't be comfortable in that, your nervous system does not have the capacity to hold abundance. You don't have the capacity for so much. So, expansion work is really the full spectrum of who we are and how we hold these things. So, now that we've gone through that, I just want to share when I found somatic work, when I really tapped into my body and started using my body instead of just my mind, I realized how much easier it was to shift my reality because I was focusing on things in my body, which is the truth of the situation, as we'll see as we kind of get further into this module. But reprogramming the mind, it takes a lot of work and repetition, whereas somatic work causes a shift in your mind naturally. When you work with the body, you don't need to program the mind because the body does that for you. The body is where the core patterns are actually held. So, just as the subconscious mind, it needs repetition. The body sees repetition as safe And your nervous system's core role is to keep you safe. So your body will keep you repeating in patterns, whether that's patterns of self-sabotage in business, maybe even in relationships, patterns of fear, of overwhelm, of burnout. These patterns live in your body, and you will keep repeating that pattern because that is what your body sees as safe, even if your mind thinks it's self-destructive. So we need to recode these patterns using the body, not the mind. So a lot of these high realities that we're trying to call in, these high timelines, they feel unsafe to the body because these are things we've never experienced before. Like I said, the body likes repetition. We have not experienced these things that we're trying to call in yet. It's to be trained to see this reality as safe so that it can hold it. I see somatic work or nervous system work as programming the 3D, right? Because you're essentially coding in these higher frequencies and realities from the 5D in to the body, which is in the 3D. When I realized this and when I really started using this to change my reality, it supercharged my manifestation practices because I could see myself programming this thing into my actual reality. That's what we're going to get into. And that's what the recording, the transmission to calibrate your nervous system is all about. So, just to bring some more spiritual vibes into nervous system work, your nervous system, as we've kind of covered, it determines what frequencies you can sustain and stabilize. It determines what layers of reality you can hold. So when certain frequencies or realities are too high or low in terms of intensity, depending on the capacity of your nervous system, you'll find your body dropping into fight or flight or freeze or fawn. This is why people find themselves in patterns of high income months, low income months, right? Because you reach the high, but your body didn't know how to sustain it, and then you go back down into low months again. Or burnout, when you get everything done, and then you get so overwhelmed and so burnt out that you have to stop. But we find ourselves reliving these patterns because our capacity in the nervous system has not yet expanded to actually stabilize. You can hit it, but you can't stay there. You can't hit it again and again and again until you have the capacity in your body. So your body needs to be able to withstand the frequency as it passes through your nervous system into the 3D. And I've been told to see the nervous system as a filter that converts frequency from 5D or above into the body, into action as it channels out of the body, right? Your nervous system is the filter at which the energy comes down through the 5D, through the body, stabilizing out into action, which leads us towards the vision that we're holding. So now you're starting to see why nervous system calibration work is so important, because you need to prepare the body to stabilize the frequency. And again, when I was channeling around this, I was told that this is another missing link that a lot of spiritual people, entrepreneurs, have been missing, especially those who've not yet acquired a nervous system that is adjusted to wealth and abundance. So, as for an example, people who are not raised in an environment where financial resources are readily available, right? If you grew up lower class or below the poverty line, even your nervous system, that's how your nervous system is calibrated. That is what it expects. That is what it is safe in. You need to repattern your body to be able to feel safe holding, receiving, and stewarding wealth. Until you do that, you will find it significantly hard to retain money that you are calling in. So, another example, sorry, that I've got written down here is people who win the lottery. People who are from lower income backgrounds who win the lottery tend to find themselves back where they started quite quickly. Because again, their nervous system does not have the capacity to sustain that type of reality where they hold that amount of wealth. So before they know it, they've spent it all and they're back down to where they began. Nervous system work, calibration work, it's essentially visualization work with the addition of the felt senses, which is the emotions in the body and where they live in the body. So visualization This is where things, desires exist in the 5D, in the higher energetic realms, right? Emotion is the energy in motion in the body, in the 3D, through the nervous system. So what I've just said there is like the equation for nervous system work. So as you listen to the transmission below, you'll realize that nervous system calibration work is essentially visualization work with the addition of the felt senses. The felt senses are the emotions that you're feeling within your body. So if we're going to put this into a kind of equation, visualization is the 5D energetic realm where your desires currently exist. And we're bringing that down into the body through emotion, which is the energy in motion as it lands in the body through the nervous system into the physical. Okay? Remember that. We need to tap into the body to really sustain these higher frequencies. I invite you all to listen to the transmission as often as possible so that you can really start training your nervous system to move and to accept these different frequencies and these different states of being. That's all for day 2. I will see you tomorrow where we're going to deep dive into embodiment and initiations.